compliance officers do the compliance for your institution? Hi, Dave Dickinson with Bankers Compliance Consulting. I'm directing this video towards senior management and directors at your institution. So if you're the compliance officer, I'd love to have you forward this up to them and let them review this. This message is intended for them. So, board members, senior management, your compliance officers don't do compliance. They manage the compliance of your institution. See, the compliance is done by those people on the front lines, the loan officers, the tellers, the backrooms, operations people, etc. They're the ones that are completing the forms or not completing the forms. They're the ones that are filling out all the information. And your compliance officers are managing that process, but they're not the ones that commit the violation if you have one, most likely. Now, I like to see them as a conduit of information. So they say, here's the regulation, and they tell each person or department, here's what you're going to need to do to meet this requirement. Or I should say, better yet, here's this requirement. What are you going to do? And each department then should write procedures that say how they're going to get that done. If the compliance officer tells them what they have to do, there's usually some resistance that you don't know what it's like on my side of the desk. So we recommend that the compliance officer not tell them how, but rather what they have to get done and why. Then the departments will write the procedures. The compliance officer looks at that, so the information is flowing back. And they might say, great, or they might say, hey, you forgot an error, this won't work quite right, or whatever. But they're back and forth. That's the conduit of information. When the examiners or auditors come in, they're passing that information up to them. So again, back and forth, flowing information. The compliance officer is a guide. If you haven't seen Star Wars, a little spoiler alert here, I like to say that the compliance officer is kind of like Yoda. They're guiding your people in the way they could go, but they are not responsible for every action that is taken. So you don't want to put the burden on the compliance officer for things that are beyond their control. Now, if they didn't know about a regulation, if they incorrectly taught it, if they explained it wrong, that's on them. But typically they might have those things right, and we aren't carrying those out correctly. So Yoda allowed Luke Skywalker to make mistakes. Yoda guided Luke. Spoiler alert, but sometimes Luke did things that he wanted to do. So just having a little fun using that analogy. The next thing I want you to think about is that your compliance officer is the guard on watch duty on the top of the castle walls, if you will. They're looking out on the horizon, looking for risks. That's hard to quantify what value that is. But I prevented certain things from happening. I alerted us to certain things. Those are hard to measure. But see them as the guard, if you will, on the watchtower that is looking out and then is identifying risk and alerting to the people within the castle walls of what's about to happen or what's coming down the pipe. So I hope that it's to give you a view of who your compliance officers, your risk managers are, so that you can see them as a valued member of the team. Thanks for watching.